If you recently took a taxable lump sum from your pension and had a little bit more in tax deducted by your pension provider than you were anticipating, expecting, or feel you should be due to pay, I'll talk you through the straightforward process to reclaim that tax. If you're ready to go, then jump onto your search engine of choice and tap in Reclaim Pension Tax. Those first links there should be the .gov websites. Don't go anywhere but the .gov sites. You'll see their branding across the top, and you'll also see the ability to log in to the government gateway. Now, if you've forgotten your details, as many of us do, there are links there to get those details back. And if you haven't registered, I would encourage you to do so, as it's the quickest and simplest way of reclaiming. But if you're a paper person and you prefer, you can download these forms, fill them in by hand, and then post on to HMRC. The address is on the forms themselves. Now, the main thing to note is that there are different types of submission. I've listed on screen here those types of submission for reclaiming overpaid pension tax. If you're in income drawdown, most commonly haven't taken the full fund, then you'll use the P55. And for UF+, small pot, trivial commutation, basically if you've taken the full pot, you'll want to be on the 53 or 50 forms. It depends whether you're working or not as to which one is the right one. Again, explainer on the screen here. I'll use one of the paper forms to show the information that you'll want to have to hand, whether you're filling this in paper or doing the online submission. It's basically the same information across these forms. The intro is your basic details, which you'll know, of course. If it's the national insurance number or pay-as-you-earn reference that you're looking for your employer perhaps, just have a quick look at your P60s, maybe a P45, or even some pay slips will have that information on for you. And then you're into the financials. And this is a little bit like a mini self-assessment. You're inputting things like your employed income, any self-employed income, any interest, taxed and untaxed from bank accounts, of course, outside of ISAs here, and things like rental income, taxable state benefits, maybe the state pension. Any sources of taxable income, HMRC are interested, of course, here because our tax bands are cumulative and they're trying to work out how much tax you should have paid on your pension withdrawal so they can rebate you the difference. If you've made gift aid payments through a charity, then put those on as well because they can help reduce your taxable income for the year. Now, these are estimates. HMRC are aware that this is a mid-year tax claim, so it's not quite as strict as self-assessment, but try to be as accurate as you can in the numbers. And as you'll see from the paper version of the form here, you can provide them with your bank details when you're making a submission for a reclaim so that they can directly give you any rebate during the tax year rather than you having to wait and say get that through a tax code change or another format of being paid back. One thing to say is that if you are already in self-assessment, you might just want to defer to your annual tax return and complete that rather than having to submit an additional form to HMRC here. Now, if you are earlier on in the tax year and it's a large amount and you want to reclaim that rebate, there's nothing stopping you at all, so go ahead and do so. But if you do just defer and leave it to self-assessment, naturally that system is going to work out the right amount of tax for you to have paid in any event. Once you're happy with the details, the figures that you've submitted, HMRC typically take about 4 to 6 weeks to send back the money that you are due, although I have heard people say that it's been quicker than this and longer than this. I suppose it does depend on their timescales. It's somebody reviewing your case and having a look at whether you've under or overpaid where you land. One of the things I will say is that if you're taking multiple payments throughout the year, so regular payments, you will get a rebate through those in any event, so you might want to just naturally let that happen rather than reclaiming. But if it's a large amount and you want more of the tax back up front sooner, then definitely look at a reclaim. And certainly if you're not going to be taking any further payments throughout the tax year, I would encourage a reclaim. If you are going to do another ad hoc one later in the tax year, perhaps wait for that one first and then do your reclaim. It just allows HMRC to be more accurate about the tax that you should have paid. If you're interested in why you might have been overtaxed and how all of that works, how you can perhaps limit the overtaxation on pension payments, I did quite a detailed video on that recently on the channel, so check that out. If you're new, subscribe. If you wouldn't mind dropping a like, and I wish you all the best with your reclaims for pension tax.